welcome to the Bookish Rambles podcast with me, Holly.
And me, Becky.
And me, Sophie. I am the author of It's Not the End of the World, and it's a book about a girl and her mom who must travel the West during the zombie apocalypse to save her brother from wilderness therapy camp. I am also the co-founder of Novelbound, which is the writing community where I know Holly and Becky from. And I am an agented author, but I am also self-publishing for the first time.
And we're probably almost definitely going to ask you some questions about that, because we always tend to ask questions, especially because we've only had self-published authors on the podcast. We actually, in fact, we may have oh my god, I can't speak. We have a Tradpub author, only Tradpub, who's coming on the podcast soon. But it's interesting to have like the hybrid, so we'll definitely be asking questions about that, especially because I'm also considering that for the future. But I want to, okay, this is spoiler heavy. We need to say that now, because
very.
I have a specific thing. I'll save it for later because it is a bit heavy to start like right away. We all know what I mean.
I wonder what that could be.
But I think I read the beta version, which is a little different than the finished version. I sobbed at the end of this book a lot. I was like a mess. I think what happened is I finished reading it at like nearly 2 a.m, and I had to stay awake till like 3 because I couldn't take the medicine that I take before I go to sleep, because I was so like my body was so stressed.
I'm sorry.
It's good. It's a cathartic cry. I always think. It reminds me of like when I read like The Book Thief or something, and I'm just like, you know, it's a good book when it really gets you. And like Becky messaged me. Let me try and find the message, because
what did I say? It was only last Monday. I can't remember what I said.
Anything like so weird, but it was like I sent you a message being like, oh, just you wait.
Yeah, it was like some gif of some dude going, like, doing a weird face or something, I'm pretty sure.
And then you finished reading. Oh, we've sent so many messages.
Oh, yeah, it didn't take me a long read at all, because I'm a very quick reader, so, like, what, a day, maybe?
You said, and I quote, well, that just wrecked my heart.
Oh, yeah, I don't cry at books. It's very rare I cry at books. But like I'll feel it emotionally. But we were talking about this yesterday. I'll get upset if someone dies on screen, like an animal dies on screen. If a human does, I'm like no. But I'll get sad, but I just don't cry. With you, it's weird. I don't know.
I cry at
It's
everything.
so funny. I like didn't mean for it to be so sad, but while writing it, I just realized that's the only way I know how to make things, and so it ended up being really sad. But
I think
it's okay. It is what it is.
I remember you saying, like, when you were first marketing it before I read it, that it was like the film Lady Bird, but zombies.
Elements of it, like the mother-daughter
Yeah.
thing, just has a little bit of that vibe.
It definitely is there, and I want to talk about that because I feel like we've talked about this before on the podcast, funnily enough, but my relationship with my mum is really good. But when I was a teenager and I lived with her, we were so similar that I think when you're like really similar to your mum, you end up like both, especially if one of those traits that you share is like stubbornness. It is a nightmare. You never win a fight, even if you do, because like, and it just like is so interesting because obviously the main character is a teenager. I actually had a friend who mentioned the other day the Tumblr post that you kind of like were inspired by, of like the idea of the braces.
The braces thing?
Yeah, he mentioned that to me and I was like, oh my god, just you wait. Literally like in a week. But I just think like that headspace of being a teenager and already having a lot going on, and then you have like your relationship with your mother, which is really complicated. I'm a child of divorce as well. Like, it wasn't like traumatic or anything, but there was definitely stuff that like was rough. And I think when you read a book that shows that, but it also shows like, not from like the biased perspective that you had as a child of like just feeling almost like you hated your mother for a while. Like Heather is like a really developed character, and she's so so like you can understand her side, and even though she objectively has done things that like weren't very good in the way of being a mother, she regrets them and she does take accountability for them, and she sort of is making do. And I think that right through to the very end, and again, I'll get to this when we get into the, let's talk about like the deep stuff, but like the way that her story ends, it very much is about her as a mother, but it's also about her being a human being. And I think that it's really rare that you read a mother-daughter story that makes you see both sides like that, whilst also having this sort of teenage angst. It's just so hard.
Yeah.
To like strike that balance.
I think
it was great.
Thank you. I feel like I really wanted to write a book about, like, when I first started this story, the ending was not the ending, and I feel like it was very like, oh, a mother and a daughter, it's the end of the world, but they're still gonna have their mother-daughter issues, and that was just kind of the story. But I feel like the ending became a lot more sacrificial and showed like it just made the motherly love that much more poignant and important. And that's why I ended up going with that direction for the ending, because it was just like, oh, like, this is the deepest aspect of motherly love. Like, this is what it would mean to be a mother, you know, at its deepest core during this, like, really terrible situation. So, yeah, it did not stay very happy for long.
No. Even before that, I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, obviously there's this scene where she is with that not very nice guy. I mean, the whole time that you do a really good job of writing like the very realistic angst, because obviously I feel like with the zombie genre, it's so easy to get like, oh, and they eat you, and but like there's other stuff that goes on. And I think especially like, for example, The Walking Dead is like obviously one of the most famous zombie shows of all time. I think that was like at its best when it was about a group of survivors who were ultimately just people. Like a really bad situation. Like the first 2 series of that show, it has like the idea of like, oh, it's the end of the world, but like people are still going to be racist. And it's like,
yeah,
you know, it's the end of the world, but people are still going to take advantage of kids who just not able to protect themselves. They're still going to take advantage of these 2 young, you know, one a young girl, another a woman. Like, it's so realistic that it feels grounded, even though it obviously is a situation that isn't obviously realistic. And then actual mentions of them, it reminded, the way that they were described kind of reminded me, this might be so niche, but there's a film called Cargo, which is actually based off of a short film.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yes.
I have seen that. It's very niche.
I love the way that like the zombies in that film were. I thought it was so like unique, and I think that you managed to bring in like elements of that sort of like that style of being like what you would expect, but also not being exactly what you would expect.
Like a zombie story, you mean?
Yeah. And the way that it sort of combined with like the other elements, I just really liked that. It was like, it was refreshing, especially because I literally read like, what is the name of the, oh my god, the I Am Legend. That's a zombie one, technically.
Oh yeah.
I read that one, which is like one of the first, like, not like the first, but it's like one of the more modern like zombie stories, and it just like is really crazy to me, the difference in like the depth of the characters. Your book to that one, where relationships are just very like real. It's just real, like the whole thing. And especially like having the friendships and then having all of those friendships actually come back and be relevant later on. And it just felt like there wasn't a moment where anything felt unintentional. And like that was, again, it felt like that when I beta read the book. Like, obviously you were still at that point, you weren't sure. I think you sent like the ending as like a separate thing because you weren't sure.
I did. Yeah, it's a little more robust now, I think, but I was basically almost there. I don't think it's changed a whole lot since you read it, but
it just was like it's so interesting, especially because of that. I think when you see like the development, it really did feel like the core of the story was like these two people, and then you did that so well. Even when you kind of were like, I'm not sure how you feel about it, it was so good.
Oh, good. That's good to hear.
And I mean, we've talked about like done a bit of like horror stuff on the podcast before. We actually did Island of Dr. Moreau, I think was like the last episode that we did of a book or something. And we love a good horror. Like especially Becky, you love gothic stuff.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, I think this is like the other thing. I've mentioned this I think to you. You might not even remember this. This is like important to me because it's a book that I have planned, but I have a book that's like planned to take place in the West. Specifically, like the idea of like the cowboy stuff is going to be like a one of the like motifs. Not that it's about cowboys, but I just think that there's like such an atmospheric vibe to the West.
Yeah, it's so good.
Why am I thinking of Cowboy versus Aliens?
Imagine.
Oh, ignore me.
I feel like, have we spoken about anything cowboys on the podcast before? Because that's like...
No.
That's so bizarre.
No, I don't. You've never said anything about cowboys to me, ever.
So put this into context. Pirates and cowboys are my, like, big two things. Like, I see something as cowboys and I'm like, I need to read that. I can't believe we've never talked about that. Because I have a book that's like a road trip novel across America that's like kind of like supernatural style. Which this book reminded me of a little bit in terms of like the themes of like family, but then specifically like the vibes of like the salt flats, and like it felt very, the way that I would always think about it is it's kind of like dusty, a bit orange, which I've never been. Okay,
I go.
I know.
Come visit, and I will go on a road trip.
Because you go there quite a lot, right? Like you love California.
I've been out west. Like 3 or 4 times. So, I mean, it's so far away, but
I really,
And I've done, every time I've been out there, I've done a road trip, so I've seen a lot of it. But yeah, it's just massive, but it's so like ripe for stories. Like there's so much there. Even when it's just like a flat desert, it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much that could happen.
And it is really beautiful. I think genuinely when I saw that they were like auctioning off the national parks, they wanted to, I was like, why would you? Because even like in England we have a lot of natural parks, and they're beautiful, but they're not as like diverse in the way that they look as the ones in America are. And it's just is so, like, you see pictures and it's like I genuinely can't comprehend the scale of like that, because especially like Utah, I think, is where they have like the mesa stuff as well, like not the mesa, what is it called, the big square looking like rocks.
I think that's what that's called. I know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry. I'm not a, like,
I don't know. I live in like flat prairie land cornfields with some forests and a few hills. So like we don't have any of that here where I live either.
See, that's so beautiful to me though, because we don't really have that. Like we have fields, but they're not really like, I don't think I've ever seen a cornfield in my life that wasn't like a corn maze that was specifically designed to be a maze.
That's crazy.
And the only time that I've ever been to one of those, it was literally not tall enough for me to see over.
Oh my goodness. Well, you can come visit me and I'll show you all the corn you ever wanted to see.
Oh, because I honestly, like, I love it so much. And it really is. Like, it's such a shame that America is such a not great place right now.
Yeah.
Because it's so beautiful. And I genuinely, like, I want to go to, like, every state. Like, I have such a fascination with the landscapes.
Me too. I haven't even been to all of them.
Well, I really want to go to, like, New Orleans. I've wanted to go there since I was a kid. And I want to go to, like, there's the Leica shop in Portland, I think. And I love the Leica studios. Coraline's, like, one of my favorite films of all time.
That's where that is.
And they have, like, a shop, and you can go and buy stuff in the shop. And
Well, why didn't I go there when I was just in Portland?
Yeah. I
Thanks for
felt
telling
like
me, Holly.
I honestly, I should have said before, because every time I see Oregon, I'm like, oh, that's where Laker is. It's like, it's such a great place if you ignore. I
Well,
think that, yeah.
I was on a road trip with my sister, and then I like had this idea in my head, but just like being out there on the road and like literally just looking out my window, the whole story, I outlined the entire thing in like one sitting because it's just so inspiring. It's just really different than where I live, and it's just like
Yeah.
I can just see so much that could happen. It's so cool.
And the reason I brought all of this up was because obviously there is like the cowboy, the sort of like fake cowboy town, tourist trap basically. And I just think like you managed to capture the like idea of like the touristy West versus just natural beauty of like the landscapes, and also the desolation that you feel when it's the end of the world and you're in the middle of nowhere, and you can just literally, because you drew, it's not a spoiler because the book will be out by this point, but you drew an image of the car, the like minivan or whatever,
Oh yeah,
in the
on the
middle,
salt flat.
and it just like, you really like the way that you zoomed it out. I know that it's like you drew it so you didn't zoom it out, but like the framing of it is so like, it really shows like how horrifying it must have been for her to be literally in the middle of nowhere with somebody who she's really freaked out by, very rightfully, and who is literally about to turn and try and kill her.
Yeah, it's very isolating. It's very scary.
It's like one of those, it's just such like, honestly, it's one of those places where you said it in such a brilliant, like, I think that is like what I really liked about also The Walking Dead, is that I spoke about this before on the podcast, definitely. I kind of associate heat with horror because I think that there's something about like the inescapable, you can't make yourself less hot sometimes, but you can always make yourself less cold. So there's something about being really hot and like the sun and like being on like a sort of desert plain.
Yeah.
It's really like oppressive in a way that I really love with horror, especially because like you imagine that you're walking for days on end, you know. For me, that's just something that I really like, and you have that. You have, you know, them having to change clothes to be more comfortable because they're not comfortable. Have the literal like the burnt remains of a town, which I have a zombie book, and one of like the only reason I decided to really write it was because I had this image, and without saying exactly what it is because it's like the major point of the book, it involves like hard like buildings and stuff, and there's something about like that just works so well. All of it works, like the theme of the novel works really well when you pair it with the landscapes. Like it all just blends beautifully, and that was like what really stuck out to me, was how visually like this would be a great film.
That's my dream. Don't even joke.
No, I got the vibe. Do you know, I as someone who's actually been to Nevada, like when they were traveling through, I was like, yeah, I can picture this. Like, yeah, it's been like 9 years since I went, but like I can actually picture it. Because we went outside of Las Vegas, so
It's
like we were just in the desert. So I was just like, yeah, we got stuck in a dust storm actually, and I was like, this is the first thing. This is like the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. We're in a dust storm. Yeah, I could really picture it. So I think you've done well there as well.
Thanks. Yeah, I really wanted to capture like Layla's romanticization of like the cowboy thing. She's really into the idea of it, and then like she grew up traveling around with her family and going on little road trips and camping trips, but then realizing like, oh, things are not actually great, and it's not that fun being on the road, and
Maybe
it's not
it
that
is
fun
the end of the world.
Maybe it is, but it's not, because that's the title.
Yeah,
It's not the end of the world.
she just felt so like the perfect. This is I think we've had this conversation before as well about the way that people write children. The first episode, which will have gone up by now, which we're live streaming, was Jurassic Park. And my like biggest complaint is the way that the young girl is written in the book, because she's such a stereotypical like 90s girl character. And she's so like whiny, and like she's the one who like wakes up the sleeping T-Rex, nearly gets them killed. And it's like, obviously you are a woman, and so it's a little different, because I think it's definitely more common when men do it. Writing children is so difficult, especially when they're at that age where they are children but they think that they're grown up, because they are a bit insufferable sometimes, and that's, we love them anyway. They are like, they refuse to sort of believe that they're wrong, I think. And you get that like vibe.
I think it helps that I work with kids and like middle schoolers. Like I know a lot of them. I feel like that probably helped me a bit.
It really it worked. I'll say that much. Like, it never felt like she was unrealistic in the way that she was with her mum, especially because like you have to understand as well, it was justified. Like her brother, even her mother knows that he shouldn't be there. It just is the case that she can't bring him back. It has that like quality of being like, well, on the one hand she's just annoyed at her mum because it's her mum and she's a teenage girl and she's feeling like she's being forced into things that she doesn't want to do. But then, so it is, like, yeah, fair enough, if you know that your brother is like suffering, that kind of sucks, to be honest. And it's like,
I think when you're growing up, there's a lot of like things really do feel like the end of the world. Like even a small issue, you just feel so justified in being angry about it. And obviously Layla has a lot of reasons to be angry with her parents, but like even small things, I feel like they just, when you're a teenager, they just like really get to you. And she's 14, like she's in 8th grade, she's young. But like I think it's hard to write a character that's like, I don't know. I don't want to like make her seem really juvenile, but I don't want to make her seem too old. Yeah. It's like right in that sweet spot of she's just growing up and like trying to figure out the world around her and feeling really angry about things and trying to like understand her anger. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt really grounded to me in that sense as well. Like you have to bear in mind like the whole thing as well with like the braces. Of course a child would be annoyed at that. Like an adult would be like, oh, okay, well, might be a bit annoying, but whatever. A child would be like, well, this is the end of the world for me. Like, you couldn't have waited a week, like that is like what she's like, and it's justified because she is a child, and she like loses her best friend as well. Not loses him, but like he isn't around. And I think when you're a kid, not seeing your best friend for even just like a week, it feels really weird. You're going through this big thing and she's got a comic book that she's trying to do with him, and she's thinking about this whole thing as if it's something that might blow over, and it's an inconvenience basically. And yet she also has to deal with the fact that like, oh, that thing over there is going to try and kill her right now.
Yeah, she's still trying to hang on to a lot of the things that she loved before, but it's like increasingly harder as you're, outrunning mindless monsters. So
and I think especially like right now, it's so like, it really is the perfect time for a book like that, because obviously we talk a lot on the podcast about how certain things are like transferable to modern day life. Like even if we read a classic, idea that the world can be falling apart around you and yet you're still trying to find joy in like a cute pair of cowboy boots, or the comic book that you have to finish the ending for or something. Like it's kind of like there's a huge discussion right now about like the value of art in times of global distress, and like, is it worth me talking about my art and sort of making it about me? And it's like, well, yeah, because where would we be if we didn't have that stuff? And I think it's really sweet to see a child's perspective of that, because they don't really think about it that way. They think about it a lot more literally in the moment, whereas her mum's obviously just like, you can imagine her mother's perspective is, oh my god, my child is with me and I've got to get over there to my other child and he might not even be alive when I get there, and how am I going to deal with that? How am I going to deal with her when she finds that out, if that's the case? And then she's not thinking about that. It's just so interesting because, especially like as an adult reader of the book, do you think about that? You do think about her mother's perspective from a grown-up person who's been through that relationship and who now has a lot more sympathy for the mother than you maybe did when you were a teenager. Again, I love my mum, but oh my god, sometimes just you really think in the moment that like they don't get you, everything's awful, and they're never gonna be the mother that you expected, and then like literally like a day later, opposite becomes true, and you kind of forget the bad stuff until the next time it happens, and then you forget the good stuff, and it just goes on and on. Whereas as an adult, it's a little easier to see the bigger picture.
Yep.
Okay, hang on. Let me just check the time. We're halfway through,
20,
give or take.
Yeah, it's 25 to 5 for us.
So
We were like 25 minutes.
I think that's like, should we talk about the...
Ooh, do you know what I want to talk about? The wilderness camps.
Yes.
Specifically where Preston's sent off to, because I think that is something because obviously it's a very American thing. I'd say something equivalent we would have is like what the Duke of Edinburgh Award, but obviously not in the same way. But that's something that teens choose to go to. Yeah, that's voluntary. This unfortunately isn't.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time I ever heard about like stuff like this, I think I must have been about 18. Obviously when everyone was on Tumblr and people started posting about it and how a lot of people don't actually like survive living through it, and I was like, what on earth are these things? And I remember looking at it and I was like, what do you mean they're kidnapped in the middle of the night and they're taken to these places? I was just like, that's so inhumane, and I really like the fact that you've included that, because I think that's something that I don't know. I've never even
know.
No, I don't think I've ever read it in a book, even some American books. Maybe it's been mentioned, but I think that makes this book even more unique than it is, really.
Yeah, I had a friend who went to wilderness therapy, and I mean, there are a lot of different kinds of wilderness therapy camps out there. Some are better than others, but I don't think any of them are particularly great.
Yeah.
I mean, kids have died, kids have been sexually assaulted. Like they're really, it's a bad practice. And I originally, when I was like first lining and kind of figuring this story out, Layla actually had a younger brother who was off at summer camp for the whole summer, and they had to go get him there. And then with a different story, I'd also had this idea of like boys at wilderness therapy and their counselors leave them, and what would they do to survive, like out in the wild on their own. And then I kind of just combined them into this thing. And yeah, if you look into it more deeply, you will just feel really angry about it. Like they're really terrible. And I think it adds like a really intense layer to the story, and like Layla's been wanting him to come home, but now all of a sudden he maybe can't come home ever, and it's like I think it ups the stakes a lot. Like he needs to get out of this terrible place now more than ever. So
especially because I think I found out about it because like Dr. Phil basically sent people to one. And
did he? That doesn't surprise me.
It was like a whole meme of like he would send people to the ranch, and it like I think I found out about it, and I was genuinely it's horrific. Like they don't know what's happening. They're not really allowed to contact their family. The messages that they send are usually heavily censored. It's like being a prisoner of war, but you're literally like you're there because your parents sent you there. It's like a huge betrayal, and I think especially because you said like obviously it's urgent that they get to him because they want him to be safe and they don't want to be away from him, but it's also like he is never gonna get to go home to his bed, and even if he did, he probably wouldn't feel safe because he was taken from his bed. Like
Wait, that's actually so sad that he's never gonna get to go home. Wait, that's so sad.
Like it's just it's that sort
Mm.
of stuff that I really was thinking about because like
Yeah.
imagine
He's
being
16,
him.
like he's a child too, yeah.
Yeah, like he literally is the kind of age as well where I think a lot of, especially in young adult novels, like you think about like the Hunger Games and stuff, a lot of 16-year-olds are given basically the weight of the whole world to carry, and a lot of people ignore the fact that they're children. I actually saw comments on a Hunger Games video where people were like talking about how like Clove and Kato and stuff were like really horrible, and it's like, okay, but they were children who were specifically raised in this way, and they were victims too. Especially, I think it's weird for people to have that sort of view because like in that case, like the film, I always think that the actor of Kato did a really good job of showing how he clearly was not mentally well by the end of the games,
Mhm.
despite having been like a strong contender for them. And I think that when you look at the general sort of sphere of discussion, people really do treat them like they're adults almost, and they're really not. I
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this last episode, which was it'd be episode 2 of this season. I only just like this year, my life started seeing myself as like an actual adult, and I'm 23.
26, and I don't know if I'm there yet, so
I like it really. It's really weird to like
yeah.
be because especially when I mean I'm not neurotypical, so it definitely is like you develop slower. Who would have thought, an actual disorder of the brain makes you not
I
quite
know.
as mature at a younger age. But I just think looking back on it, like when I was 16, I was going through it. And like I look at like some of the things that adults said and did to me when I was a teenager, and I'm genuinely like, how could you be that hateful to say that to me while I was like actively crying in front of you? Like there is no way that an adult should do that. And the thought that he was out there with a bunch of adults like that, a bunch of teenage boys who, some of them were very rough around the edges, to say the least. But I think
Yeah.
that it just like, they are children. 16-year-olds are children, 17-year-olds are children.
I actually just finished writing, well, I had finished it last spring, but I
Yeah.
got it to the place I wanted it. I finished Preston's spin-off, so the whole thing happens. It's the same timeline, but it's everything from his perspective at the camp while the apocalypse unfolds. And so you see a lot more of like what happened with the fire in Oregon, like in the town in
Yeah.
Oregon, and a lot more of like the background of what happened with him and Trent, like why they are that way. Um,
It's gonna
I literally
ruin me.
finished this. It's but you get to see the whole ending again from his perspective.
Ugh.
But you also see a lot more of the camp, and their camp is actually an alternative school, so they're there for like 9 months, whereas
Ooh.
typically, like there are programs that last for months, but I don't think there are any that are that long. So his is like an actual quote unquote school, although they don't do much schooling. But
Yeah.
yeah, you see a lot more of what went down and like the things he endured even before the apocalypse happened, and then really puts it into perspective why things are the way they are at this camp right now. So I'm excited about that one too. I just sent
Yeah.
that to my alpha readers the other day.
It's just so, it's like honestly one of those things where did it really well. Like I never at any point, I think this is one of those big things, right, with writing where you want to make sure that every character's motivations are clear, and they are. And it, especially with,
I didn't feel like that. I didn't feel like that until literally like a week ago. I was rewriting this thing over and over because like in order to make it work in Layla's book, everything had to work in Preston's book because I had to like really dig into it. So I actually had to rewrite some of the interactions and stuff in It's Not the End of the World, but I'm glad that you felt differently.
it, I think especially like all of the different boys, like you never feel particularly angry at like them. Like you don't do like, or at least I didn't do the thing where you go, oh, you're a villain because you stole the radio or whatever. Like there's that depth to it where it's there.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Oh, do you know? Also, like, if I mention this is, if you want to read this is going to be major spoilers because I'm going to mention the event that happens at the end.
Some thoughts on
With-
this too, don't worry.
yeah, so that's what I wanted to say with Layla's mother. I was saying to Holly when I was reading it, like, I think I said, I really love the open-endedness of, like, we don't know if she shot herself or if she just let herself turn. Because obviously she was bitten. I love how we don't know that, and Layla doesn't know that, and I don't know. Is it kind of hinted that Preston knows that, or he doesn't really?
Yeah, he kind of knows, but you don't really see that aspect of it until you're in his perspective.
So yeah, I like the fact that he doesn't. He's like, I don't want you to know. So I just love the open-endedness of it. I don't know, because I feel like sometimes in fiction we're told too many answers, and it's like you don't want to be told too many answers. You want to leave the mystery because then there's no fun in like what actually happened, because you still got to have some mystery in a book, even if it's not a mystery book. You've still got to leave some elements out. I don't know why this example's coming to mind, but Holly, you know Gavin and Stacey, the thing that happened on is it the fishing trip?
I kind of love that. Because
Yeah, it's like that.
it's like one of those things where it makes you want to know.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes as well, it really is nice when you don't know. Like, especially from Layla's perspective, you know, she's literally a young child. And the imagery of, like, the horses, the wild horses, and I think I've mentioned this in, like, one of your comment sections, but every time I hear the song and it gets to the very
Wild
end, the line where it's like, we'll ride them someday.
It's right in the heart.
Yeah, because it's like, that is exactly what it is. You know, her mother, I have a point because I could jump off of this into my point, but I don't want to reveal.
Oh,
No, that was directed at.
Sorry, either of you.
Sophie.
well, I was just gonna say, like, off of that, I like the idea of her. I mean, they don't really know what happens with her, but I like the idea of her just like being kind of free at the end, even if she's turned. Like, she's just like finally just on her own, because she had like kind of a rough childhood and like went through a divorce and kind of was in this controlling relationship, and then she was worrying about her kids, and she never really got to go back to that like childhood freedom she felt on her childhood ranch. But like now there's the idea that she's just like out in the wilderness where she's happy. Like, it's kind of depressing, but
I think and this is like why I wanted to talk about it, because final act, and the thing is, she obviously saves them, like, literally, but also she mentions to them that, like, oh, this flower, you know, I've been drinking like the tea of the flower, and it sort of seemed to ease the symptoms a little bit, slow the turn. And so it's like the insinuation is obviously that that's what the cure would be made from, is something in this plant. First of all, her name is a plant. And I know that that's like the most stupid thing to say without any context, but when you consider that she, literally as she is dying, manages to tell her children this knowledge that she's learned about how this plant can be used to combat this, like, virus. It's like her final act before she dies is one that could potentially save her children, but also everybody. It's like she still is giving all of herself to her children at the very last minute. And even down to, like, her name literally being a plant, and, like, her...
entirely unintentional, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't
just, like,
think...
gave her that.
I will say, I didn't imagine that was purposeful, because it's almost a reach. I thought that was kind of cute, that, like, a plant is what saves the world, in theory, and her is what saves her children. And it's just, like, I don't know, to me that was, like, a thing. I just need to have a drink of water.
I think I lost you guys for a second.
Oh, I think did we just both like just go quiet?
But I did go silent.
After I said whatever I just said, it was like my connection went off for a sec.
Holly was just
Yeah. I basically just, if you didn't hear it, I was just saying that, like, I thought it was cute that her name was a plant name and that she saved her children the same way that the plant will save the world in theory, and that it's like
In book 3, maybe.
it just I loved the little stuff with her and like that storyline. I thought it was really cute. I say cute, obviously it was really awful.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it felt like, you know, her final ever act was one that saved her children and that gave them the potential to have a good future despite everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that it kind of ruins me to think about that, to be honest.
And
Well,
Holly,
speaking
I
of
think
that,
there's something. I
my
was going to
mic-
say there's something in the.
Do you know what it might be?
No, you're good.
Oh, sorry.
whatever that noise was.
I was just going to say there's something in the like newer draft that you haven't read that she also contributes to. She like has this notebook that Layla then uses to call the Air Force at the end. Like that, she also contributed that. That was not in the
That's sweet.
beta draft, I don't think.
I'm pretty sure that was in the version I read because I remember that. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you read the
Yeah.
most recent.
Yeah.
See, I waited specifically because I'll be reading it when I get the physical copy.
Yay!
Because I like to read stuff physically more than video. Also, I've beta read like 2 books in this last like 2-3 weeks while preparing for this podcast. I was like, oh, but I've read all of them really quickly as well. Like I've managed to read like really good books because Novelbound's great and everybody in it's great and they're so talented, and that's how me and Becky met. We've spoken about this a lot, but yeah, actually maybe we should, because it's probably about we have like 15 minutes. Should we talk about like Novelbound a bit and like the trad and self-pub stuff? Because I feel like Becky, you probably have a few questions about that as well.
I mean, I've got one more question about the book. Like you just said, like book 3. So, are you thinking about doing it a series?
I think I'm going to do a 3rd book. I mean, I wrote Preston's spin-off, so that's book 2. But I've been outlining book 3. I haven't started it yet, but I'm still like letting it simmer in my head. But I have a lot of ideas for it. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it and like explore this new world a little bit more widely, and like the new ecosystem that they're in. And then also just like Preston and Layla both went through a lot of stuff, and I feel like I need to give them a little more.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be dual POV, so like switching between them.
It was not a happy ending.
No.
Open-ended.
The thing is, I really liked the ending. I will say, like, if it had been a standalone, I think that it wasn't one of those that felt like it was baiting you into reading the next book, you know? But
Yeah.
it did have the... How did you get out? Sorry.
Is that your cat?
Yeah, the door was shut. Like, I specifically didn't let them out. She just saunters upstairs. Okay. She's probably going to jump up on me in a second. That's fine. But, like, I felt like, you know, there was a lot of... Are you coming? There we go. Sorry, she's up. But I just felt like there was so much with, like, the ending that was really good, because it specifically, like... That's what it's like, I think, to live during the apocalypse. Obviously, I don't have experience of that. But, you know, you don't always get, like,
Not
a
yet.
satisfactory ending.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah,
kind of the point.
I'm such a, like, before writing this book I kind of did as a challenge to myself initially. Like, I'm going to write something completely out of my wheelhouse, because I usually write very contemporary or literary leaning stuff. But it's always very character driven. And with this book, I'm really drawn to bittersweet endings. Like, endings where it's not what they wanted, but it's kind of what they needed, or like what was inevitable.
Yeah.
And I love an ending like that, where it's like, oh, it hurts, but like they're gonna be okay, and they're changed, and like the world's gonna keep moving on.
It's
You
a
know,
good
like
hair, isn't it?
I
It's
just
like-
am so.
I get that. Especially, like, having read the book. And, it just... I think that, sorry, she's just really distracting me. Not settling. But I think you did that really well, but you did it in a way that, like, she's injured. Like, she almost dies herself. She saves herself by calling the people who come and help her. And she's reunited with her friend who... This is, I guess, something that we haven't spoken about too much. The comics. Like, the parallels of, like, the story. I felt, like, really stupid because you had a question for the betas where it was like, was it clear what you were doing? And I was like, I hope that this is what you were doing, otherwise I've completely misunderstood and I'll feel really dumb. But the way that it, like, obviously it kind of is, like, almost like the consolation that, yeah, your mother's dead, but like, comics, like, they kind of have, like, that same idea of, like, sacrifice in order to do the right thing for everybody, sort of thing. And it...
Yeah. And the comic, like, directly inspires Layla to do what she does at the end, where she's like, I'm not going to let my mom sacrifice herself. I'm going to sacrifice myself, which is crazy of her.
She's so young and bold, and she's one of those characters. Yeah. And it honestly, I just, like, I feel very maternal towards her. I'm like, oh, you poor sweet thing. This is not what you deserved, but doing so well. And her brother as well. I'm just like, you poor soul to have gone through all of that and to have to, like, the fear of, like, thinking that his sister was genuinely going to die while still trying to, like, run this group of kids who might just actually be stuck here forever. Like, perspective on that whole situation, I think, is actually going to be horrifying in, like, the best way.
It is. It's terrible. Man, I feel so bad for them. And then I'm like, I literally created this entire situation out of nothing.
I say that to Becky all the time when she's, like, sending me really sad things and she's like, oh, this is, like, my characters, and I'm like, yeah, but you set that up. Whose fault is this?
I still relate to it.
Joy of being a writer. You get to make yourself.
I'll, like, write, like, a really horrifying panic attack that my character has on live television, and then I'll be like, oh, it's so awful that she went through that.
Darn, so sorry.
If only that hadn't happened. Oh wow. But I want to talk about publishing route, because I agree fully with your reasoning for doing this, because the people want the zombie book. They want it. They really want it.
The zombie, yes.
And decided to self-publish basically because it felt like the right time, and TradPub is just so...
Yeah. Well, and I know you guys know more about my TradPub experience than listeners would, but, like, I just have had so many things slip through my fingers with traditional publishing, and it's been really discouraging because it's like I can do everything right. I can write a really good book. I can get an offer on it. I can get an agent, and then it, like, amounts to nothing and it all falls apart. And it just happens. Like, it happens in traditional publishing so often. Maybe not so often, but, like,
it's more
I know multiple people who have had to leave their agents. So like, my book After Charlie that I got my agent for has just been getting pushed back. And at this point, we're over a year. Like, I was querying over a year ago and it still hasn't gone fully on submission. Like, it's just...
And you changed it as well.
Yeah, I had to do some edits this winter. I was just doing those in December. And around the time I was doing those edits was when I decided I'm going to self-publish my zombie book. Because in my mind, I was like, okay, my agent and I are focused on After Charlie. My zombie book is not in my agent's wheelhouse. Like, that's just not what she represents. So I was like, I'm going to have to wait with After Charlie, which could be on submission for who knows how long, and then do something with my zombie book, maybe. And best case scenario, it'll be out in, like, 3-4 years. And I was already just having so much traction on my TikTok with posting about my zombie book. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And it was because my friend Courtney Walsh, she's done an event with us before. She's been really successful in both spaces. And she was like, you should just do it. Like, just pull the trigger and do it. So it's really scary because self-publishing, like, so much goes into it. and I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm gonna try my very darndest to get this thing out there, but it's like a lot of unknown. But it also is so freeing because I have so much control over things. Like, I get to illustrate it, I get to do my cover, yeah. And it's like, it feels really cathartic after such a terrible year with traditional publishing for me. Like, I was literally about to like give up on traditional publishing last year. So it just feels really good to be able to like do things on my own time, and I'm excited.
Because I think that was like Becky's main reason, was that she knew that the book had received good feedback from the people who'd read it, including people who had like no attachment to her as a person. It's like, if that's the case, and if it's just like, why? Because it was, you basically you kind of had like a feeling that you wanted to self-publish anyway, and then it was just like, well, why not? Because then I can actually have it out in the world for people.
And you never know what will happen in the future with it too. You know, things could always change.
Exactly.
But indie publishing is not a cop-out for traditional publishing not working.
Oh,
like,
gosh,
it's way too hard for that.
It's hard. They're both hard. They're both hard.
I honestly, like, I'm at the point where I'm gonna do like a querying update, but my heart has like moved on from my Formula One books in the traditional publishing space, because I feel like it's so difficult to market a sports-based book that isn't a romance right now. Because the whole space is just so weird in general, and like to find somebody who likes this sport, which it's not niche, but it's like not a sport that literally everyone knows and loves. It's like, I want it like published, but I can't self-publish it now because it's too expensive and it's too much effort for me right now. Like, I'm not in a place where I would be able to promote it as good as I should and stuff, and that's like really sad. But it's also like, if you are in a place where you can do that, why wouldn't you self-publish if that was like...
And especially while you have the energy for it, like while you have the excitement about this book, because traditional publishing has a way of kind of sucking out your excitement, you know, and to the point where you're like, I don't know if I even want to do anything with this book, and you just kind of toss it aside. So I feel like if you have the excitement and the means and the energy, like, you should just go for it, and you can always try to traditionally publish it later. But
exactly,
I'm
as well, like, it doesn't close the door on traditional that's like the benefit, is that, and that's I guess why I want to talk about it with you, especially because you're doing both actively, like, right now.
Yes.
And I feel like people, publishing is getting like a bigger moment right now, because I think people are starting, especially like, as I said, the industry right now is a bit broken. You can like see it in some books that they just aren't editing them. Like, they're just really not giving books the attention that they need to flourish. They're not giving them the time because they're rushing, and they're
quantity over quality.
Literally. And it's like, on the one hand, I get that it's a money-making scheme, but like, the money's not going to be there if all of the books are terrible and no one wants to buy them. And it's not even the author's fault. Like, it's the publishing industry itself. And I think when you're in that sort of space, it is very discouraging. It's very difficult to get like email after email telling you that the book isn't right for the market. It's very difficult to then get an agent and have that agent change their mind, because the market is just getting worse in that regard, especially with like literary work. I've seen that I saw this the other day. I saw a post from somebody who was like, agents are now looking for like 70 to 80,000 words as their like standard. They like really don't want anything longer, and that's crazy, because it used to be like 30,000 words, more than that. And it's just, I like get more than ever now the reason why it must be so freeing to have an option that's like all you, and that you can just do it, and it's like fast and able to connect with actual readers rather than just go that way, but also still have the other option, because the other option unfortunately has more stability, because especially with the audience that you have on TikTok especially, would you have at least a few guaranteed buys? Like, you're one of those people who I know that you've joked about this. You are a micro celebrity on the internet of the author community.
Writer talk. It's a small little community. It's
Yeah, and it sounds so dumb because if you said that to like some people, they'd be like, I have no idea who you are. But you're like one of those people who like I found when I started my writer account, and because I literally was like, I'm gonna make an account and I'm gonna write my book and I'm gonna stick to it and I'm gonna connect with other people to see how I'm actually supposed to do this for the first time. And you showed up for me. You were like, and that's how I found out about Novelbound, was because I was following you. And I just think that you have like a platform where it's really beneficial for you to do both, and more than that, for you to kind of show people that like it's not one or the other, because it really does feel sometimes like people talk about it as if it's one or the other.
Yeah,
and I always thought that it was, but it's like, no, like there's so many authors who are doing like a hybrid path now, and that's super valid. It's just, it's more like, it's not like what path do you want to take for your author career? It's like, what path do you want to take for this book? What's best for this book?
Yeah.
That was something I had to realize, but it's very freeing realizing that.
I've literally like I've thought about that with so many of my books where I'm like, I don't know if this would do well under like my author brand, but it might if I self-published it and have like it be a space where I have like the miscellaneous projects. Like,
Yeah.
you've got so many options, and I think, Becky, were you considering it?
I don't know. I'm like really on the fence.
That's the thing. You're allowed to be on the fence. That's the
It's like,
beauty of it.
do I really want to sit through querying again? It's like, because it's not fun. It's like,
And it's so,
it's
Yeah.
so
much
fun.
on.
Yeah, I've got stuff going on. It's like like trying to find a new job at the moment, and just like I think I don't know. I just don't know. I'll think on it.
What it is for me is the edits. Like, every time you make an edit to your manuscript that is like fairly significant, you have to go back and remake every single different file with the different lengths of like material. And it's just like, okay, great. It really is like the worst querying. Really grateful that Novelbound exists, because otherwise I would have just been like, what am I even doing? Honestly, like,
I'm so grateful Novelbound exists, like for my own sake, not because I run it, but just like as a writer,
it
it's
must
just
be
like
crazy.
the community I need, you know?
So, like, you did that. I know obviously
that.
you're a co-founder, so it's not all you. It's not like you look at it and you go, whoa, in the way that you necessarily do with like a book or something, but you still, like, you do a lot of the work in the running of it day to day. You're both so active. That's like what I think the craziest thing is, that even to this day, now that you have more people on board the team, you're still there, and it's like evident that this is like,
I genuinely love being a part of it. Like, we made Novelbound. Novelbound's a business. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we do want to make a little bit of money and do our retreats and, you know, but at the end of the day, it's like, I genuinely mean this too. Like, having a community of people is so much more important to me. And I've just been so grateful that, like, especially going through so many ups and downs with
yeah.
my writing career. Then since like literally the day that we started Novelbound was the day I got an offer on my book from a small publisher. And since that day, it has gone so up and down and been so emotionally taxing. And I've just been so grateful to have a community of people who are like, you know, there
so
for
sweet
me. And
all the time.
yeah, everyone's so amazing. And it's been so cool to see people publish their books and get agents and find success in all these different areas, like whatever their goals are. It's been really cool to witness.
I'll say, like, one of my like little mini goals is that if I get an agent, I'm gonna get a Novelbound post.
Yes, you will. It's going to be so good.
That's like that thing where I think that, you know, part of having a community is that you have those like smaller things within it. Like, oh, this person has offered to read my book when I finish it. So I should finish it so that they can read it, because I'm really excited to see what people think. And oh my god, I'm so nervous, but also they're going to be so nice about it because it's Novelbound and nobody's ever been mean to me on Novelbound. And
Yeah.
honestly, I am baffled a bit, because sometimes I see like writing video comments on like TikTok and stuff. And it genuinely surprises me that some people aren't supportive. Because, like, what do you mean? This is the community that has it's like the only one that I've ever had in the way of writing. Like, the one didn't exist when I started writing my book. And then I joined it before it was, like, official. And then I became a member. And honestly, I have said this before, it is, like, the best. I think it's, like, £8 a month. And it's so worth it. Because, like...
£7.78.
Yeah. Because...
I don't know, guys.
It's because it literally, like, you get the monthly events, you get access to the Discord fully, and you can always go back. And, like, the comments that I've gotten on my query letter, I literally got a full request within, like, 3 days of changing my query letter.
Awesome.
Again, that's on a book that I'm kind of ignoring because reading is just so exhausting, and I just don't have it in me anymore to focus on 2 books at once. But it also is, like, the place where I got people's feedback on, like, the idea for the book that I'm writing right now, a book that I feel really good about, and I've now written a query letter for that book, even though the book doesn't fully exist. And it's, like, so affirming as a younger writer. I say younger writer, I'm 23, I'm not like a child.
No,
but
we're teenagers. What are you talking about?
yeah, like, I was literally in high school.
Some of us are almost 30, excuse me.
But
I'm in my mid-20s.
Yeah. You've both been writing for a long time. I have always written, but I'd never written, like, a book. And having, like, a community that has been so helpful, like, I just feel like it has been so unbelievably beneficial. And I don't know where I would have been if I hadn't, like, I didn't have any idea about so many things. And then there have been, like, events, and there have been, actually, like, the marketing one. There's just something about marketing yourself that is just so difficult, and you've got resources for that on, like, the website and stuff, and it's just great. And especially with the chat, there is always somebody active, always.
And it's usually me, but
It's like if you have a question and you're like, help, you get help. It's like you summon people. It's just great. And
oh, well, I'm so glad to hear that, because I know it's been very impactful on me, so I'm glad that I'm not the only one. I'm glad I didn't create this just for myself.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you had, I think, honestly, I love when people do that. I love, like, super niche, like, those playlists on Spotify where it's, like, the party that I had, but it's, like, a publicly available thing that you can just go through the songs that this person played at their birthday party 7 years ago. That's, like, so fun. And I feel like that's kind of what Novelbound is sometimes. Like, you have a conversation between people that you read that happened, like, while you were asleep.
I always see messages at 4. It says 4 a.m. for us, and I'm like, it's obviously not 4 a.m. for them, but it's just like, what are you lot doing?
It's so funny, the time difference.
Yeah, it always makes me laugh. I'm like, it's not 4 a.m.
Honestly, like, I wake up and I'm like, what did I miss? I'll cut this out. I'll cut this out. But there was a bit that I slept through it, and then I woke up and somebody had been kicked from the chat. And you know what I mean?
The faded VR sandwich thing. Yeah. I remember.
And it's just like,
was that those two? For what I understand, it was just two people having, like, a
13-year-old.
Oh my god.
Well, she claimed she was, like, in her 20s, but she really didn't seem like it. And then when I kicked her, and she had messaged me and was like, I'm sorry, whatever, and I was like,
oh yeah, Miss Sophie, she called you.
Like, I said, there are some concerns that you're not the age that you say you are either. And she did not deny it. So that was the last time.
Yeah. But
that,
it's just so, I get such FOMO because I wake up and stuff like that's gone on, and I'm like, what did I miss? And it's not even available for me to see, which is valid because, like, you're a good moderator, but also I'm just, like, so nosy.
Anytime you want to know, text me and I'll tell you the drama.
Honestly, all the drama. I love a bit of drama. Or I'll, like, miss, like, a sprint, because I've literally never been to a sprint. Even, like, when I intend to, my brain just cannot focus on the time. I have major time blindness, and so I will just be like, oh, that was happening. And it's now 10 minutes past the ending time. Oops.
I had to stop doing sprints because I could not even keep track of when I was supposed to do them. So
It's
I
so
don't
valid.
need them.
We like fully forgot to film a podcast like a week ago because we just both forgot. Like
In my
literally
defense,
busy.
in my defense, I was driving my car around half the city and then halfway back, so that's my excuse.
Yeah. I just forgot. I was like, oh yeah, we did say we were going to do that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Whoops. It's just
Oh,
like
well.
that's what it feels like to wake up, and I'm sure you get that because like there are people active from other countries that come on, but waking up after like a full night of activity from the Americans is just like I have a scroll through and I'm like, oh, it's a shame that I missed that, or whoa. And
Oh, I'm glad I missed that.
it's so fun. It's like honestly, I hate when I've like missed specific time. It's like, oh
Yeah. Well, it's like it would be great to go on the writing retreat. Like, if you ever do one in Scotland, like, do you think you'll ever plan on doing one there?
I literally before we ever did our first one, I was like, man, someday I dream of having a writing retreat abroad. And so
I think
it's on my radar. It's
so
just
many places as
logistically,
well.
logistically would be really difficult to together.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
because you'd have to
I
be
would
planning it in a
love-
different country, which would
yeah, and we do a lot of the stuff ourselves. So like decorations and snacks and food and everything. So it would probably have to be one that is more catered by like a vendor. And so it'd probably be more expensive and yeah, it'd be tricky. But I would love to do like Edinburgh or something.
Oh, yeah.
I think about stuff
cool.
like that all the time because like obviously Scotland is gorgeous. You've got like the Lake District. There's like this. Becky and I have spoken about doing like a mini writing retreat at some point, and there's like this beautiful place and it's booked up for like ages in advance, but there are like places where you can go and there's like windows that overlook these like lakes and there's like mist and it's like literally out of like
Well,
Pride and Prejudice
go.
2005.
I want to go.
It's like literally it's so beautiful and and there's Cornwall as well.
Let's just
And,
do like if we ever have to do a UK writing retreat, we'll arrange it.
I was there. I feel like I was there for such a short time. Like I was there a month, but I was doing
It's really
lectures and
hard.
things.
Like that's
And
what
I wanted to travel so much, and I like barely got to see anything.
I think about that with America and like the West and like how, for example, you said that you go on road trips. Even if you did that in the UK, it takes like days because like my uni city is basically like 2 streets. It's absolutely tiny. It's just very old and small, and you could literally see
Big
it
up
all in like a
Lancaster.
day. But then you like come to like my home city and there's like 15 museums and art galleries, and there's the library which is beautiful, and like the docks and the
Beatles.
yeah, like literally like if you wanted to really see like this city, it's more difficult than you think. And like for
I know.
how
I was in
small-
Oxford for a month, and I feel like I didn't even scratch the surface.
literally, and like you even when you're like living there, you still like
Yeah.
I feel like there are parts of this city that I've lived in my whole life that I have only seen like I've only been to them and like seen once or twice, and I barely know them. I would get lost so quickly. I went
What
to
city are you
Manchester.
from again?
I'm from Liverpool, which
Okay.
very different areas as well. It's one of those cities where like there's like the wealthy bit and then there's the not, because like the footballers live here as well. Like most of them actually live in Formby, which is there's a beach and a national park. There's like squirrels there.
Squirrel.
It's one of there's an art exhibit on the beach which is Anthony Gormley, who I don't know if you'll know him. You are an artist, so maybe, but he designed the Angel of the North. He designed the Dream, and he also did a cast of his naked body, and there are like 100 of them
Oh, lovely.
on this beach, and it's called like Another Place, and they're all like dotted like throughout, and you can see them like when the tide's out, really far out. There's, I think Britain actually, there's like loads of windmills offshore. We have like one of the best offshore electricity farms in like the world. We're like really good at that. it's just like there's so much like little things to see that are like really interesting. And again, that's ignoring the fact that like the Beatles are from Liverpool. You could go to the Cavern Club as a tourist. There's loads of nightlife stuff that's there. Like, and this is like one city, and you know, there's also outside of the city, there's like the farms, there's lots of like local bookshops and stuff. It's really difficult to see a lot of places, and that's why I think that books like yours, it's to sort of connect it with the earlier point, are so interesting to me, because I am probably never going to see what it's like to be an American living in America, because people would hear me talk and they'd be like, oh, where are you from? And I'd instantly be tourist number one. Like,
Oh,
because we had
yeah.
that. We did go to Florida when I was like 10. It was actually during Hurricane Sandy. And every time we would meet people, they would just be like, oh, so you're from England? And it'd be like, yeah. Yeah. Debbie Ryan Hairtuck, like, we are.
Funny though that the U.S. is so big too. If I, like when I was in California, we were at a campground and we were sitting on a hot tub talking to some people that were from California, and they were like fascinated by the places that we would go out for eat for fast food and stuff, and like I don't know, they were just like so
really
intrigued by it.
You don't have like a Wendy's in like every state and stuff. This was like a discussion. That's so
Wendy's?
crazy, because there is a Wendy's in Manchester.
I ate a lot of Wendy's in Oxford, not gonna lie.
They have one in Oxford. Crazy.
Yeah, they do.
They have
and,
quite
like,
a few.
we're one of the cities that had a Taco Bell. We got like a Taco Bell, like, as one of the flagships. We have one of the like every now and then American brands are just like, yeah, we love Liverpool, and I'm like, thanks. I think we have like a Morphe shop, which is crazy.
Okay. Oh, I've got a list of where all the Wendy's are. The closest one to me is in Derby, so that's like 40 minutes away.
Oh,
There
it's
are
just like-
49 Wendy's in the UK.
to me, it's
I've got one
crazy.
about 1 minute away from my house.
Well, we have the thing where it's like there's a McDonald's like every like mile or so. It's not so bad here as it is in America, but there is like many in this city, for example.
Yeah,
There's two
one
in
10 minutes
town.
down the road.
Sometimes what we do is there's one that's really busy, and so you can never get a seat. So you get your food. If there's no seats, you walk like 5 minutes to the other one.
I was going to say right, there's a deal. It's 2 for £4 breakfast deal. That's not bad.
That's actually really good.
Yeah, limited time only.
And this is like the thing about like American
This is an
food.
endorsement for Wendy's, by the way.
I don't like American McDonald's. I just don't like it.
I
You
never
don't
had
have you don't have some of the food that we have.
I've been to McDonald's in a few different countries, and it's always more enjoyable in
French
other
McDonald's
countries.
is crazy. I was like, I need to buy that
I like
because
French
that's like a waste of a meal.
Yeah,
But
but they have wedge fries. Those are so good. We don't have those here.
we have like the wraps, which you have them in America,
I know.
surely.
Yeah, I think so. They brought them back recently.
Yeah, but
The
I
ice
love the
cream's
wraps.
always better in other countries too than we have.
Oh, my friend always talks about how much better the ice creams were in McDonald's in Singapore.
Oh,
Apparently,
sure.
apparently we're like really lacking. But my mum loved that there was like the eggnog one, because my birthday is like around Halloween, so we got the crossover of Halloween and Christmas stuff when we went, and got like an eggnog latte from McDonald's, which we don't have
Wow.
here. We got like a Denny's, which is like, it's not, apparently people don't like Denny's, and that's valid, but like for an English person it was like, wow, oh my god.
I hate to interrupt, but I'm going to have to go in a bit because I've got to go to the gym and I've got to go get my boyfriend's stuff because he's staying over for Monday and Tuesdays.
I should actually feed the cats. Yeah. She's like trying
Where-
to get in bed, but
What were we even talking about before?
We started talking about High Republic, we started talking about Wendy's and then milkshake.
because it was the
a
right
great
retreat.
example of how it goes on the Discord, the
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is it's the podcast. It's what we do. But it was really nice having you on. The book was great.
Yeah.
We both really
Yes,
enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it. It's one of the better books I've read this year because, like, I mean, last year I accidentally read a smut book, and I was like, oh, this is horrible. So it was quite nice to read something that I actually liked.
It was a Peter Pan.
Yeah, it was like, how I don't read stuff like that. Like, kudos to you if you want to read it. I read it all, and I was like, what did I just read? Like, it was not my kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I could cleanse your palate.
Thank you.
Honestly, I'm like, this is a great reading year for me. I've nailed it this year. I've read your book, I read Elle's book, I read Taylor's book.
Gosh, I'm reading both of those.
I started like the second Jurassic Park, which I actually really liked. And I knew that I would. Like, I think I've literally had like 3.5 star upwards books this year, which is like, for me, that's like really good.
Awesome. I'm so excited for you to get to see like a physical copy. I'm excited too.
Yeah.
Because the illustrations are gonna they're gonna make me so sad.
Sadly, they're gonna be like black and white in the printed book, but I'm so excited.
I think that whenever I think of illustrations in books, I think of like the Narnia ones, and it's just so sweet. And I think that it's gonna be really fun to see.
Because if you think about if you think about hardback books, there's a company. It's based in the UK, but you can create like special editions. It's called Book Vault. I'd recommend you look at it. Yeah, I'd recommend you look at that just to see.
I'm thinking of doing like a deluxe version with colored illustrations.
I think they do sprayed edges as well.
You can print colored pages out. I don't know how much it would be but I think they've got a printer in Canada. I think
I would have to charge like $50.
Yeah, they might have one in the US now, but last time I saw someone talking about it because she's a self-published author herself. That's how I found out about it, and she was talking about like you can pay for printing because she did a special edition with drawings and things. So I think she mentioned they have a printer in Canada. I'd look into it though, but don't if it's expensive, don't. But I just recommend you if you want to.
You could do a Kickstarter. They have a very good rep at the minute.
Yeah, I definitely want to look into that because I would love to have like a hardcover version. But I think it'd be cool to have the colored illustrations.
And it would
since
go
I
on
put
my
so much
shelf.
Yeah.
I say it's my novel, but I just think it's so sweet. It's like the whole community is so great, and like to have your book finally in the like, it's kind of crazy that it isn't yet because like as I said, I found you from, I think it was. Is for some reason The Mind of a Flying Bird.
Oh yeah,
that's the book that I found you from, and then that you're still not published. It's basically a crime. It's like the traditional like industry. It just does not know what it has. It's passed you up, and it's a mistake. But at least we got to read the book.
Yeah. You can read any of my books that you want anytime. I'll send them to you.
Honestly, as soon as I'm on a bit of a time crunch because I have decided that I need to take my studies seriously and like graduate.
Oh, probably you should.
But I honestly, as soon as I actually have like the time, I want to read like every book that you've got.
I will send them.
And yeah, but it's so great. And guys, it's out now. If you're listening to this sounds like one of those like messages where it's like, if you're listening to this, it means I'm dead. It's like
maybe I hope it's for the theme, but
I'm aiming for publication. I was aiming for April 21st, but I might push to like May 1st.
That's probably about right because we are in about a 12-week, and the first episode, which is like the live one, we're doing that like probably honestly March, purely because Becky's so busy and out of the country that it would be absurd.
I'm out of the country. Where am I going out of the country?
Technically, Edinburgh and like, you know, the Isle of Skye and stuff is Scotland.
That's in the country.
Yeah, but it's a different country. We count it.
Okay.
It's not the same. If I traveled to Wales, I went up to a different country. There's a sign that says "Welcome to Wales."
Yeah, and it is in a different language, but okay.
But yeah,
fair enough.
So it probably will be May by the end of May by the time that and we can like do yours as like the last episode of the season. We don't know that yet. You kicked out Kazuo Ishiguro on the slots because for some reason I didn't. When I did like the thing, I just didn't account for you at all, even though I knew that you were. So I was like, yeah, we'll boot that book because I didn't like it. We were talking about it. So you'll be probably at the end, so it'll be out. Don't worry.
Yay! So excited.
If
Thanks
you
for having
haven't
me on.
read it, like, why are you here? Spoilers.
Literally, what's the point now? To look at the
Go read it anyway.
Pretty.
Go cry over it anyway. It's like those people who just got into the Hunger Games because of like the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and then they cry over somebody that died like 20 years ago. It's like,
Yeah.
literally just like do it anyway. And then check her out because she posts a lot of content. So we'll leave the link as usual to the book and also the like different stuff. And also we might as well just link Novelbound if you're a writer and you don't already know and you've not already listened to us talk about how great it is. Go join. And maybe
join.
you're from the UK especially, like join so that we can have a UK retreat and it'll be financially viable.
Yeah, I think there's something like 4 or 5 of us in there.
Yeah. And we're very proud.
I don't know why I said we as if I'm included in that.
Oh, you are. You're honorary because you live here.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we could bring you back, we would, but that would be kidnapping. So
I might need to escape the country
honestly,
by the time this.
I was gonna say I have like an attic room.
Okay.
That's actually not at all safe for a human to live up there.
Well, I'll take it.
We'll unfrank it.
Oh.
I will have a spare room actually because my dad's moving out.
There you go.
But
I
yeah,
can offer you $1 a month.
that is enough actually. That's
And a free membership. I'll throw in a free membership.
that's like way better.
There you go.
Yeah. That's like Spotify membership free basically.
Basically.
So, anyway, read the book if you haven't already. If you have, we hope that you enjoyed it. Go give it a review because that always helps. I think.
Give it 5 stars anywhere else.
Yeah, do. This is a threat, actually.
Me telling you.
It's like one of those things where it's like, oh, you didn't know, but because you listened to this, you're actually under oath. So.
You're contracted.
Yeah. You've signed away your soul if you don't give it a 5-star review. But go do all of that. Follow all of us, please. And comment on this podcast because please engage. Right, it's just a desperate for engagement.
Just please, even if it's an emoji.
It could be a meme. It's fine. But yeah, thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Bookish Rambles podcast. If you want to hear more from us,
follow to get the next episode delivered straight onto your feed.